You know, I talked about this before, but I still don't understand. I mean, I know maybe they're just doing it for fun or something, or maybe they're trying to send a message to Ian Flynn himself. But, when issue 60 came out of IDW Sonic, now I don't have a copy yet, but thanks to the internet, of course, people are talking about it, reviewing it, they're spoiling it, stuff like that. People are just, you know, I guess I could say they're just, I would assume just, as I mentioned, just sick and tired of all the drama going on. I mean, honestly, here you have issue 59 and issue 60, and there is a moment in there that happens that basically is going to be a character developing moment for Tangle. Something happens that really is going to define her as, a character. It's going to make her grow and potentially take a lot of the missions she might go on in the future more seriously and, stop basically, having fun and all that as much as, she'd like to have fun, And, here you have people, they're looking at what happened, I think, in 59 and as a result in 60. And they're like, oh, great, here we go again. Why are we seeing this? This is not good. And again, people have to understand. I'm not going to say what happened. But there is a moment that happens to Whisper and Lanolin that, let's be honest, nothing is going to happen to these characters as a result. These characters are going to be fine. These characters are going to be okay. I mean, the fact that you have future issues, ladies and gentlemen, with them on the covers, basically that tells me they will be fine. And I don't think Sega, let's be honest, Sega will not allow anything to happen. All this really is, let's pay homage to the classic games by having this certain situation occur to these characters, and also allow it to be a character growing, defining moment for one of the characters in the process. That's all this is. I mean, we have seen this so many times. I've seen it in the Archie Sonic many times, okay? A lot of shows have done stuff similar, in the process. They've done similar situations, and everything turns out right. Everything turns out fine. And again, I don't get why people, act this way. I mean, honestly, like I said, I think the only answer I could come up with is they are basically sending a message to Ian Flynn that they are sick and tired of this storytelling. They're sick and tired of it. They don't want to see this anymore. They want, they want peace. They want a friendship to grow and develop and maybe become something more between Tangle and Whisper. They do not want to keep seeing all this drama and, I guess teasing and, what if, and, they're sick and tired of it. And I think, and not only think, but believe that that's why they're acting the way they are. They're sending a message to Ian. And that message is, Ian, knock it off. We're sick and tired of this. We are not coming to read a Sonic comic just to have our hearts broken or have us, have our hearts pounding out of our chest because, they might do this to Whisper or they might do this to Lanolin. They might do this to this and this and this and this. I mean, seriously, how many times again have we seen this? I mean, think about it. Think about this. Go back to Archie Sonic. Go back to Worlds Unite, the sequel to Worlds Collide of the Worlds Collide Mega Man Sonic crossover. Go back to that. And what happens to Team Dark at the very beginning of Worlds Unite, or at least around that time frame? What happens? They get killed off. But guess what? They come back. Because Sega would not say, okay, go ahead, use the crossover, kill the characters off. No, they came back. Endgame. That was a Ken Pender story. Ken as I mentioned in the previous audio video, wanted to kill off Sally. What did Sega do? What did Archie do? They said no. And even though Ken tried to find a way around it, a loophole, he was still stopped. Because they had plans for her. And also because they owned her. Do you think, honestly, they were happy with Ian Flynn doing the Mecha Sally thing? You think they were happy about that? No, they weren't. But they let it happen because Ian Flynn had to promise them that, yes, she is going to get restored. She is going to be okay. And whether or not the Sally that would get restored would be a robotic duplicate or not, which I don't think it would have been, because, if you're going to tell the people that are licensing the character out to the comic that you're working for and you're writing for, if you're telling them, yeah, she's coming back around 250, 275 or whatever, she's going to have this new look and everything, and that's it, then obviously you got to stick with what you're telling them. You can't go back on it, or you can't just say, yeah, I kind of said she was coming back, but it's part of a bigger story because that's not the real her. No, you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it, or else they don't trust you. And that's why when I look at stories like this, what's going on in these recent issues, just like before, when I talked about the whole Tangle and Whisper disagreement, argument, and stuff like that was going on, what did I say? I said they were going to be okay. They're going to be fine. And I say the same thing here. And again, I can only assume it's just a lot of fans that are just in their own way trying to send that message to Ian Flynn. We're sick and tired. We are done. We are done with this. Enough teasing us and pulling at our heartstrings. We're done. Even though they know she is going to, Whisper is going to be okay. Landeline's going to be okay. The message to Ian Flynn is enough. We are done. We are done. I mean, it's no wonder, and I'll talk about this in another audio video maybe, or even an on-screen video. It's no wonder IDW is in the state that it's in. Because of the fact that the writers on a lot of the comics are going down the same well they've done before. Even though they are trying out new stories in the various comic series they work on, they are going down the same well. And people see that. And that is why the comics of IDW are not doing so well. Why they're falling. It's like why IDW is basically falling off a cliff. Because they're basically letting the writers, be repetitive. And they need to stop doing that. They need to. There's also a bunch of other reasons, I'm sure. But still, that is probably one of the primary reasons. And that's causing the comic sales to drop. And not be what they want. Not be what they are hoping for. It's causing them to plummet. And for someone like Ian Flynn, who's a great writer, he knows what the fans want, being a fan at one time himself. He has to understand better than anyone that this teasing, this pulling of the heartstrings and all that, especially with a popular pairing, basically represents or is a strong representation in your Sonic comic of the LGBTQ community. He should know that fans are getting tired of this. He should understand it better than anybody. And to me, that's why when I look online and I see people comment about like the whole, dissension between, Tangle and Whisper, from a couple of months ago, and now, and even now with what's going on, it's like, he should understand. Fans are trying to tell him enough. They're coming out and saying, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this. And IDW probably wonders why the sales of the Sonic comic aren't what they used to be. Because of stuff like this. And I'll explain more about that later. But guys, you have to understand. First of all, Sega's not going to allow anything to happen to Sega branded characters, especially characters that have been in Sega games of any kind. They're not going to let anything happen. They're not going to let anything happen. And also, if you go online and you look at the preview pages for future issues, you'll see that they're going to be okay. Because if they weren't going to be okay, they wouldn't be on the preview issues. Or the preview covers for future issues, I should say. They wouldn't be on there. They wouldn't be on the preview covers for 61, 62, or 63. They wouldn't be. If they wanted to follow through on this and, really like tug at the hearts and break the hearts and all that. Everything is going to be fine. But I think this is just, to me, another example of fans sending a message to Ian Flynn saying, enough's enough. We get it. We get it, but you need to stop. Enough's enough. And that's how I see it. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like enough's enough with Ian when it comes to this? I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Give me your thoughts overall. And until next time, guys, I am out. But yeah, this to me, it's just a message being sent by the fans to Ian. Stop it. We have had enough.